Okay. Okay. We're live again. But
We
we're
are.
waiting for Leo. Leo, where are you?
I don't know.
Because, okay, we've got to find his debate, right? And I even forgot where the debate was. It was on...
Rage.
Okay. Oh, it was on the Rages channel. Okay. We're live again. But
We are.
waiting. Oh, somebody's echoing. Is that me?
I don't know. Somebody throwing stones.
It couldn't be me because I was muted.
Twas I.
It was you.
I know.
I'm glad you owned up to that. It's it shows maturity.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Beyond your years.
You've been such a positive role model to me, Michael. How can
I know.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening here.
Yeah, maturity beyond our years.
Oh, there, yeah.
Well, after you get older, when you pass 60, you start cycling back around real fast. So I'm at about 13 right now. So I'm back down to 13 per maturity level. So let me see if I can figure out where.
I'll be back in a few minutes.
Okay. Where's the debate? The debate. So we've been on stream for a long time, and I think everybody's probably too tired to really do this. But we'll give it a try. We got, let's see, dualism versus idealism. Oh, this is a fun one. Leo, there you are. Okay. So do you have keys to the kingdom? Leo?
What?
Do you have the keys to the kingdom?
I don't know what that means.
Do you have the StreamYard?
Nope.
Oh, you didn't.
I don't know how to do a goddamn thing on StreamYard, and I don't want to learn how to do it.
Okay.
What the fuck are we doing with our screens? I hate this view. It looks ugly and tacky.
Oh, we can do this.
Squares. There we go. So
better.
much better.
Yeah, I'm gonna go shut a light down. I just made Alfredo shrimp from scratch.
Shrimp Alfredo?
Yep. Mostly shrimp. There's a little bit of Alfredo in there, and there's a few noodles, but it's mostly shrimp.
You had said Alfredo shrimp. It's shrimp Alfredo. Shrimp Alfredo.
It's shrimp cubed Alfredo.
Actually, what? No.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of shrimp. What I'm saying is there's a lot of shrimp. 2 pounds of shrimp and very little everything.
Did you say shrimp cubed Alfredo?
No. Yeah, shrimp cubed.
No.
The third power.
That's not what it is. It's the partial derivative of the cosine of shrimp to the second power Alfredo.
Okay,
that's what it is.
Gotcha. Okay. So how do we want to handle this debate?
I don't know, but I did want to say I love math jokes. I got to read you guys the one I had on Twitter today because, oh, fuck, it was funny. I saw a post and it was like, we need to normalize this, that, and the other. And I was like, in my head, I made a joke and I was like, that's one for Twitter. And this was a joke. You know what we need to start normalizing? Wave functions. I'm sorry. Please don't unfollow me. Oh, fuck. Oh, that was too funny.
I was looking into some of the double slit experiments today and listening to a bunch of physicists talk about it. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
The thing is definitely a wave.
I get annoyed of hearing about it because, like, that's all that I ever hear. People, so what's the double slit experiment? Just like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
My God. Everybody wants me to explain it. It's like, ask me something more complicated.
It shows you that we're dealing with something non-local, that it is. Particles are not little pellets made out of some material. They're sort of a field.
They're packets of energy. They're
like a little wave, like a little ripple in space.
A particle is just the localization of a wave in the field.
Yeah, I wonder if they aren't like some sort of a ripple in like in a fifth dimension or some other geometry that we're just not seeing correctly.
Maybe.
And it would make sense if we did our work in that outer geometry.
Yeah. I just kind of don't think that reality that like there's a lot of philosophy that is
Poorly done.
that sort of falls out of quantum mechanics, the nature of it and what it means. And I'm just like, I don't think that we need to be reading this deeply into it. I think that nature is just fundamentally fucking weird, and it only seems like we need to turn to a philosophy because humans just aren't wired for understanding something this non-intuitive.
Yeah, but it's only weird at those real small, when you get down to a really tiny level.
Yeah.
Really small spaces. I heard an interesting thing talking about electron spin. So for electron spin, imagine a magnetic ball spinning, except there is no ball and there is no spin.
And there is no magnet.
There might be that much, but...
Well, there's electric charge.
Yeah, electric charge. So,
and I think that because the electric charge moves due to the spin angular momentum, I believe that gives rise to a property. I don't know if you'd call it a property, but something that is referred to as the magnetic moment.
Yeah, but it's quantized, so it doesn't work at angles like a normal spinning ball would.
Well, but that's the thing, is that it's not actually spinning, but there is angular momentum there, which is why we call it spin.
It's minus
but
one.
There isn't actually there isn't like a thing there going.
Yeah.
It's not like if you go shrunk down, you'd see a little guy just going whee and just spinning. That's not.
Really quite bizarre. I wish I had a life to give to mathematics and then extend that life to physics, and that would be.
Or you could just study physics.
Math first.
Or just study physics because it makes the math easier by giving you things to apply it to.
I started getting back into abstract algebra today for a moment. It was fun.
I haven't done any math today, actually.
Abstract algebra is pretty easy, actually, compared to any other kind of math you do.
It's not that bad.
It is cool. What is it? Galois. What is it? Galois. Galois. He does something with polynomials, basically.
I don't know how you're talking.
It's not literally spinning, but it's literally a logic gate.
Apparently.
It's literally.
Yeah, he left because he was like, well, you guys let Dr. Dan talk for like 5 minutes and nobody interrupted him. And I was like, that's because what he said made sense. And then Otangelo just left. The thing is, he always talks about how much he wants to debate R and Raw. And it's like, if you don't like being interrupted or talk over it, you'll last maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah, for 5 minutes. Yep.
Could you let me finish R and Raw? And he'd be like, no, because you're saying really stupid shit that's wrong.
Yep. Yes. It's not literally spinning. I don't know where Immutable went. I don't know how much energy I got left.
I think I might just start calling him Imdes. Just the two first parts of his name put together.
Call him what?
Or it might be Immutiny.
Oh, Immutiny, yeah.
The first part of his first name and the last part of his last name, Immutiny.
Yeah, he said he's tired.
Or I could call him Table Des, but that doesn't have the ring that Immutiny does.
Have you guys ever heard of the book 1984?
Oh, hell yeah.
Never. Not once. Not ever have I ever heard of that book that everybody knows.
It's a classic.
George Orwell.
It's kind of like the Bible.
I am officially reading it right now.
Oh,
I haven't ever read it. I don't think I ever would.
It's very depressing.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it really isn't a fun book to read. I think I read it back when I was a teenager. It was a while ago. 1984 seemed far away back then.
Yeah.
Now it's far away again. Now it's in a rearview mirror.
What is
1984?
1984.
You guys didn't even exist in 1984.
You don't know that? Yeah, I did.
Not really.
I mean, I did.
No, I don't think so.
Yep.
Did you?
I existed. I just wasn't in a collective form that I call myself.
Exactly. I existed. I was there.
No, you guys were still dead.
Nope.
That was back when you were still dead.
You can't die unless you've lived.
Oh, I remember the day when I was just a star.
So how many of you actually watched the debate? Is Immutable the only one?
I watched the openings, and then I think I drifted off after that. So, and I meant to watch the rest of it, But he was, let's see. So how would you summarize it? To address the question,
he just kind of repeated the same things over again, and like literally did not even make an attempt to address any of the points that I brought. Nice guy, no qualms about his character behavior. It's just did like literally, but he was a solipsist, so that it was kind of like, well, you can't prove that. It's like, and I kept agreeing with science doesn't prove things, but we have to work within the frameworks that allow us to make sense of our reality.
Yeah, anytime you tried to mount an argument, he would counter by going further into solipsism, which is ridiculous, because if he's a solipsist, then who the hell was he talking to?
Pardon me for asking, but like, who is the Joel?
No, this guy was just Joe.
Oh, Joe?
So I don't even remember his last name. He was just Joe.
Brad.
Yeah,
Joe
Brad.
Brad.
I mean, he seems like a really nice, chill guy, but it's hard for me to take solipsism seriously. It just is.
Yeah. Well, it's self-defeating. I mean, it's ridiculous. Who are you arguing with, yourself?
Yeah.
It's like, and where are you getting all this input from? Yourself? Everything's yourself. It doesn't make. And then the problem with solipsism is that it assumes that when it says everything is in your mind, well, where do you get the concept of a container or being inside something if there is no outside of anything? If everything is your mind, then there's no such thing as in your mind, or in a lot. It hashes out to there's no such thing as your mind. Everything just is. Mm-hmm. Okay. So if everything just is, that's exactly where you started with realism, that everything just is.
Yeah.
So if everything behaves exactly like it's real, what would you add to it to make it more real? There's nothing you can add to it. So it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it was an interesting debate. I thought I laid out a fairly cogent and convincing case that
notice my brain floating
that aspects of human consciousness, pretty much all of human consciousness, is physical and arises from the brain. Yeah. And I always laugh when people argue, well, the one thing that people bring up is the hard problem of consciousness, which hasn't been a problem for at least 20 years. So which is kind of talking about how do people have subjective experiences? How do we explain this? How do we tie it to the brain? There are a lot of ways to do that. But yeah, the hard problem of consciousness is not a problem really anymore.
Well, for one thing, you can map you can map subjective experiences to brain function, and you can watch what happens. Like, for instance, for solipsism or idealism, how does it work that you can't remember something, that you can't remember a name and you have to go searching for it? How does that work in a pure idealism? Why would your mind not be able to find something?
Yeah.
It doesn't. But if you look at it physically, you can actually watch brain waves of your mind trying to find something, and they've scanned and created these huge networks where they can see that you're driving down into basically this minimum. And then all of a sudden you'll quit thinking about it, and your brain and the whole thing starts to fluctuate and boil again and flatten out. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you drive into another minimum and you say, oh yeah, that band's named The Doors, or whatever. So it's you can actually watch our thought processes on your brain. You can scan the occipital lobe, and if you're looking at a square, you can actually kind of make out a square in your occipital lobe. So you can actually map what you're looking at, because as it turns out, your primary visual cortex, which is in the back of your brain, has a little folded up sheet, and it maps directly to your eyes.
Yep.
So you can tell what's, what it's called architectonic. It maps directly one-to-one spatially or architecturally to your field of vision. Mm-hmm. And that is very interesting. So that's how they've been able to, I think they read a guy's mind and they could tell he was looking at it or thinking about an airplane or looking at it.
Yeah.
And then he reimagined it. It was really interesting.
I was really hoping that I would actually be presented with, more of a challenge to be able to defend my worldview, because I mean, I had everything ready from, articles on near-death experiences and how we've created them, to how we've literally been able to take a word that somebody is thinking and have a computer read that and say the word, to figuring out, the particular neurons that memories are stored in, all sorts of different things that show obviously the mind is an emergent physical process of the brain.
Yep.
Which is also the consensus, and it's an overwhelming consensus.
I wonder if I did a transcript on this. Logitech. I'm gonna try something.
Transcript on what?
On this particular video.
On which video?
On the there is a transcript on the debate. The debate itself.
Oh, okay.
The debate in itself. Like the thing in itself. See what I did there? That's pretty clever. Doing philosophy here right in front of you guys. Okay, so I'm grabbing the transcript.
Is there something in it that you're looking for?
Oh no, I just want to put it in a Google document so that we can read it. Copy. Copied it. Now I'm going to go ahead and put it in my Sublime in a raw form, and then I'm going to process it, and then it'll make some damn sense. Now I go to my standing in poop directory where I have a little Ruby program. What's that?
Strangling the truth. I'm sorry, that's just too damn good.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I should rename this Strangling the Truth instead of Standing in Poop. Now I go over here and check. Oh my God, what happened? Something went wrong.
What did you do?
I don't know.
Oh, no.
Oh, I know what happened.
Yeah, he also kept bringing up, like, how can we measure, the brain and the mind? And I'm just like, electroencephalography readings, EEG readings, functional magnetic resonance imaging, fMRI. We've literally done this. We've literally used both of these to watch how the brain changes as what somebody is perceiving, or their changes in their emotions, all of these different things. We've watched how the brain itself changes under these changes of the mind. We've watched how changes in the brain correlate to changes in the mind.
Yeah.
And the only real argument, it's not much of an argument that's given against all this data, is that, well, all the data has shown is a strong correlation between the mind and the brain, but it hasn't shown causation. And my response is always, if I hit your hand with a hammer 100 times in a row, would you agree that we can only conclude that there's a correlation between hitting your hand with the hammer and you feeling pain, but hitting your hand with the hammer is not what's causing the pain? Or would you argue that there's a level at which correlation becomes strong enough that one is capable of reasonably implying causation?
Correlation does not prove causation is the most misused piece of
and the thing that people don't
verbiage.
understand is that the way that it's technically worded is correlation does not necessarily equal causation. However, if two things are causally related, they will be correlated naturally. I don't really know how to define idealism other than stupid bullshit. It's the idea that essentially there really isn't an objective reality, that the only reality that exists is the ways in which it's perceived, and because people perceive reality in different ways, that it's really only ever subjective, and it's a mess. It's a mess. Yep. And that there are some people that are idealists that believe that, well, there's objectivity to the different subjective experiences, like that the sun gives off electromagnetic radiation, yada yada yada, rama rama ding dong, but that fundamentally that there isn't much objectivity to what we call reality, and it's still largely based on experience to some degree.
I think reality is just exactly as we perceive it.
I can't say that it is, but I can't say that it isn't. What I would say is that the way that we perceive it is the only way we can perceive it, and thus should be taken to be the way that it is.
I can make an argument for that.
And I'm not saying I disagree with you. Well,
that kind of thing that am I in? Okay,
yeah,
you're in.
Kind of thing that the ideal objects goes all the way back to Plato and Aristotle.
Yes,
but I just never went for that. That there's
exactly,
and sometimes you hear it described as there's an essential essence to things.
Yep.
And I just don't see that being.
Yeah, that's the other thing is reality is shallow.
Yeah.
It's there's no deepity to it. The idealists they want to talk about what's really real. So they want to talk about reality as if it has a capital R, and it doesn't have a capital R. We are organisms embedded in reality. We are a part of it, and we perceive according to how according to the structure of what we are. So what we perceive is accurate for our structure. So we're taking a perspectival slice of reality, and it is perfectly correct. And this the argument, what is that? The argument from the infallibility of the senses. How often do your senses actually fail you?
A lot. I mean, people have probably
Not a lot.
Oh, well, yeah, definitely.
Well, if I walk into a room,
smells. I mean, people that have paranoid schizophrenia that are hearing things or seeing things. Yeah, our
yeah, but I mean,
fail us quite frequently, and they do.
And in your day-to-day life, okay, today,
peer review process and everything like that.
How many times has it failed you today?
I honestly wouldn't know because most people aren't going to know when their senses are failing them, like a paranoid schizophrenic.
Well, if you don't know that if you don't know that they failed you, then they didn't fail you.
Well, I would say I picked up my phone and tried to read a message, but I couldn't because I didn't have my reading glasses with me.
Right.
So, they age, they fail, but they're a reflection. Maybe even a pale reflection of the ideal, according to the ideal. My real question, though, is did Joe really come in as a dualist and idealist? He talked about believing in the soul, but do you think he defended dualism and idealism actually, or was this a debate about something else?
I would say he tried to defend it. I don't think he did a very good job.
Did he go first?
Yes.
So where is it that he went? Where is behind? I didn't put any bookmarks down, so I wonder where he went.
Naturalism just being that there's only the material world.
This would be closer to the end of his.
Okay.
I'll restart when you start back up.
Okay, so I would say that consciousness is magic. It's mysterious.
Yeah,
it's
pause that right there, because when he said that, I was like, I pretty much already won the debate. I mean, you're appealing to magic.
Yeah,
but
he used the word magic a lot.
Yeah, he was using the word magic more to mean something just hasn't been explained yet, which is not the definition of magic.
Yeah. Afskin.
What?
I'm invoking Afskin foreskin rules.
Oh.
So Afskin.
And by supernatural, I mean cannot be explained naturalistically. So I know Leo advocates for naturalism and materialism. Naturalism just being that there's only the material world.
I don't advocate for materialism. I advocate for physicalism.
Materialism is just that everything is made of chemicals or matter. So the thing with consciousness is I got some facts about it that not a lot of people know about consciousness. It has no mass, and it is made of nothing material or nothing, or possibly it's made of nothing at all. It cannot be proven to exist objectively. It can't be said that it can be a byproduct. Okay,
right here, he just eliminated consciousness. So he's an eliminativist. So he just said it cannot be proven to exist objectively, or in other words, it doesn't exist. Because it really doesn't, when you think about it. If you think,
it depends on what you mean. If you mean that it exists as its own separate identifiable thing, then no.
Substance, right, or activity, yeah. So there are a lot of neuroscientists that search for the neural correlate of consciousness, the NCC. Mm-hmm. So they have been looking forever, and they haven't found anything. Well, actually, they found a lot. They keep finding more and more neural correlates for consciousness. And you said it in your debate. You said it's the entire brain.
Yeah.
And I could have hugged you when you said that. That was a good moment.
Exactly what it is. I mean, it's the whole brain. Just like you can't put together 50% of a puzzle and have the whole puzzle. You need the whole puzzle. You cannot reduce consciousness to one part or even just a couple of parts of the brain. It's all of it working in unison.
Joeism. Okay, let's see what else he says here.
the brain activity, as it can't even be detected to begin with.
What? Yeah,
Unless you
Dan.
call brainwave byproduct of brain activity, then you're saying that a brainwave is consciousness. But I don't think anybody would say that brainwave is
What?
consciousness in itself.
Why not?
The consciousness has no naturalistic explanation. There's no law in physics that says there should be consciousness. It transcends material reality.
Argue, like, what is this thing in reality that says we have to have consciousness? I'm like, there isn't. Consciousness is just an emergent byproduct of the brain and thereby of reality. Reality doesn't say it has to be there; it just is.
Okay, consciousness is a suitcase word that we use to mean that we're up and walking around and perceiving. And other than that, I cannot pin down what consciousness could be. Because when I try to introspect my own consciousness, for one thing, as soon as I try to introspect it, I'm introspecting it in the now. And what I'm trying to introspect is what just happened. And so I can never catch it. So I'm always running ahead of myself. And the other thing is that when I introspect it, all I find is objects in my consciousness. So I find smells and feelings and emotions and sights and all of this big bag of things, which are the objects of consciousness. And I can't really, there's this idea in philosophy of the given, where idealists and some of these guys that are arguing for the magic of consciousness try to tell you that consciousness is just given to you, that everybody knows what consciousness is. It just is, it's there. But when you ask them to define it, they can't.
Mm-hmm.
They have nothing. It's just given. So they're basically begging the question. They're assuming their conclusion. You know, that consciousness is something mystical. So it just fails all over the place.
You know, consciousness, man.
Yeah, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's the definition of consciousness.
Yeah, and when it ends, it's really interesting how, like when I go to sleep, it's gone, and then I wake up, and I don't have any sense that it was gone, other than to look at the clock and realize, hey, I was dead for 3 hours. You know,
you definitely weren't dead.
Oh yeah, dead, because I wasn't really recording anything, and I wasn't dreaming, and I was pretty much dead.
Well, you weren't aware of your dreams.
Yeah, well, my heart was beating, and nothing was shutting down. But I mean, that is the same as being dead when you go to sleep. Oh yeah, when you go to sleep, it's like being dead.
No,
being dead is Why isn't it? What's
the
different?
brain is still highly active while you're sleeping. Just because
not really.
That's like saying that because you're not consciously perceiving something, that therefore it doesn't exist. Because if you can't consciously perceive what's going on around you, then you don't exist. No, you still exist. Your brain is still active. It's just in a different state.
Well, sure.
It's like you're in power save mode or something, or some sort of utility mode where you just kind of go down to the bare minimum or bare bones, and then your body is doing stuff in the background.
Well, it's worse than that. Your thalamus goes into a mode where it cannot receive signals. So it receives no signals from your body, and no signals are given other than some base autonomic functions. So it goes into this mode where the waves become too smooth, where nothing gets through, so you're not processing any signals. And when you're in a deep sleep, it's almost like your brain goes into this state of what the hell would you call it? Like epilepsy, where you're convulsing with these smooth harmonic waves. And in order to be conscious, you have to have very, very broken up jiggly waves. Okay, so they've been able to tell that people with locked-in syndrome are conscious by these jiggly waves in their brain, as opposed to these very smooth rhythmic waves. So when those rhythmic waves are happening, subjectively, it's the same as being dead. Subjectively. So you're not dead, but subjectively you experience it.
What do you mean?
Your subjectivity is of a dead person. That's
In
exactly
what way? Because when you're sleeping, you're still experiencing things.
No, you aren't.
Yeah, you are. You're experiencing your dreams.
Only if you're in a dream state. You don't always dream.
You're always in a dream state. Every brain dreams. You might not remember it, but in fact, every brain dreams.
No, but no. Yeah. A dream state pops up as part of the cycle of your sleep, and you necessarily have to go into deep sleep in a non-dream state in order to go back into a dream state. When you're in a dream state, you're more subject. You're in a different mode. You're still disconnected from your body, but now you're connected with your hippocampus and your cortex are connected, and they're cycling through memories from the day, basically, and that's called a dream. And you're putting down long-term memories. So
basically, you're cycling in and out of REM.
Yeah.
And then if you somehow wake up or pretty close to that REM state, you're going to remember your dream.
You'll remember it, right? And you'll start to weave a story around it as you wake up. So as you come back to consciousness, you'll try to make sense. But I think if you were to really dream and be conscious of it, it wouldn't make any sense at all. It'd be like an acid trip or worse.
I can testify to. I want to know what effects depression has on sleeping and the ability to memorize dreams. Because back in March, I had a just really, 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 really bad depressive episode, and I can still vividly remember parts of those dreams. All of at least 2 dreams that I had that same night. And they were quite vivid when I was having them too.
Well, I think it depends on how you personally experience depression. It's different for different folks. I've been on a Lexapro. Is that that's the kind of the marketing for it? And I ran out a few days ago, and it just took me a while to get it into the pharmacy. And for the last at least one night, maybe 2, I had a whole lot of trouble getting to sleep. Whereas before, it hadn't been a problem forever. So for me, depression does lead to insomnia, and so I keep waking up, and the more I do it, the more I'm likely to remember my dreams, because you might be close to that REM state.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it may well be that you're not getting enough deep, steady state cycles in order to be healthy. Because to be healthy, your brain has to go into this cyclic mode.
Mm.
You know what?
Back when I was using Fitbit to track a lot of stuff. It has a sleep kind of monitoring function to it. It recorded me pretty low on the deep sleep end.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know how accurate Fitbit's sleep monitoring is.
What was I going to say? Oh yeah. You know what really is stupid about dreams, or at least my dreams? Very, very, very few of them have involved Amelia Clark. That's fucked up.
I know. I hate that.
So fucked up. It's not like how. Like how? What? It makes no sense. I don't get it.
And I never get to have sex during my dreams. I think maybe once or twice in my fucking life. It's always, you always wake up right before. It's like, God damn it. God damn it.
Yeah, I basically, I'm gonna lay on the couch and let y'all dissect my mind here. My dreams a lot lately have been that repeating. I'm in high school, and gosh, I know I've had this math class all year long, but I never went to it. And the final exam's today, and I go to a locker, and then I go and try to find the class because I've never been there. Happens every couple of weeks. It's been going like that, I don't know, for quite a while. It's the weirdest thing.
I had
I'm not in underwear.
Howdy, Sal. How's it going?
Hi, Sal.
We really. Not last night. Let me check.
Yeah, it was last night.
No. I tweeted about it. Let me check. Figure out when I made this tweet. Hold on. Is it in here? It isn't here. So it was not last night, but the night before. That would have been Thursday night and a Friday. I had a dream that I was in college for astrophysics, and I was taking a quantum mechanics class. You were actually in that dream, Speed. That was weird. We were together in college taking a quantum mechanics class, and I was doing pretty well, actually. And I was like, maybe this is a sign, but I'm still not ready. I
hope it's a premonition.
That would be really cool.
Yeah.
You got to apply to Harvard, though. If we're going to Harvard.
Oh my God! I don't know. How about MIT? What's wrong with MIT?
I mean, yeah, but they don't have an advanced standing program, as far as I know.
'Cause I've never made it to the campus of MIT. If I do, I'm going to start hugging kids and probably get arrested. But I made it to Yale, and when I got to Yale, I basically got reached down and I got a little chunk of dirt from Yale and put it in a baggie, and off I went. And I had a rock and I bought a bunch of books at Yale. Boy, they have a bookstore. Holy shit, do they have a bookstore?
I bet.
Yeah. But I want to go to MIT and hug the children. You know, that's all. I mean, that's innocent enough, right? I just want to hug physics students, and I don't know. It's just
And be like,
a dream of mine.
Sorry for you.
It's a dream of mine. I wanted my kids to go to MIT, but they decided to go another way. So
where did they go?
They actually could have been accepted. They went into computer consulting, and they became computer consultants just right out of the box.
Huh.
And yeah, if you want to make money, that's the way you got to do it. If you don't want to make money, go to college.
Oh, it depends on what you go for. For what I want to do, I can make money. I can make a lot of money.
Yep.
But the thing is, like, if you want to actually become a professor or like a good researcher somewhere, you can't just go to college. Like, you got to go to college and like do really good and get a fuck pile of scholarships and honors. Otherwise, they don't give a fuck.
Yeah. So Ben Schwartz says, I love the dreams of having a final and realizing I didn't go to class and don't know anything. So I was taking I was somewhere in the middle. I was in a junior college, and I was in a electrical engineering curriculum, and I was taking calculus. I think it was, I don't know, second quarter, and I got really drunk and I missed the exam. So the next day I went to the professor and I said, hey, can I make up the exam? And he said, you were here and you took the exam. And I said,
wait, is this a dream or a real life thing?
No, this really happened. So I apparently was blackout drunk, and I showed up to school and took the exam, and I said, what did I get? And he said, you got an A. And it's like, okay, but I can't remember the fucking exam. I don't remember being there.
Wow.
Yeah,
I wish
I'm kind of a blackout drunk.
I passed calculus.
I think being drunk, I actually did better in school if I was drinking than I did sober. So I don't. Okay, kids, this channel does not condone that.
Yes,
I want to make that clear.
Go to your count classes and take your finals drunk as shit.
Blackout drunk.
You will pass. You can be anything you want to be. Go jump off a building. You will fly. I promise you, you will fly. I'm not joking. Little kids, especially little kids, if you're out there, climb on your roofs and just fly and be free.
I got to say, that was the first test I'd ever taken where I had zero anxiety. Or at least I think I had zero anxiety because I don't remember being there.
Yep.
Yeah, my professor, he got real fond of me because I was so crazy. He thought I was really crazy. He's the one that got me into computers.
What school was this?
Normandale Junior College in Virginia, Minnesota.
Oh.
So, yeah, it was a small one. Little junior college.
I didn't know the state of Virginia was in the state of Minnesota.
Yeah, we absorbed it. Yep. There's an Austin, Minnesota too. So.
There's a Jamaica, Iowa.
Oh my God, you can go to Jamaica. Pretty cool. Okay, so what do we want to do with this thing?
I don't know. You tell me.
I don't know. We play a little more of what he's. How come he kept putting a bathrobe on?
I don't know.
Was that a Douglas Adams thing? Like his fingers gay?
Dude, I have no fucking clue. I wasn't even paying attention, to be completely honest.
Because I kept looking at him and thinking he looked like the Douglas Adams dude. I forgot what his name was, but anyway.
It cannot be found in the brain. I would guess that you would probably the best argument for consciousness for materialism is calling it a byproduct of the brain, and the reason why you can't detect it is because it's an abstract noun. You really can't detect abstract nouns.
What?
So if you're going to call consciousness an abstract noun, that's kind of a tricky thing to talk about, but I got some notes on it in case I need to go there.
He just defeated himself. Okay, if it's an abstract noun, it's not about anything that actually exists, something that we conjured up. So, yeah, I don't know.
I don't think he was mentally well organized for that.
No. Yeah,
presentation.
he seemed like a nice guy, but I don't think he was ready for this.
He said he's a mystic, and he believes in the use of psychedelics, and I'm wondering how many
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
during the debate.
Mushrooms.
mushrooms. Mushrooms can fuck up your brain if you're not ready.
I could probably have a debate on mushrooms. I'd probably be much more better composed than I normally am.
If you're not a realist. Somebody was talking on the weather report this morning about mushrooms and how when you take them, you have hallucinations. But you know what? Those aren't hallucinations. That's how you actually sense things. Like when you see a table like roll, up and down like with waves, and where like a cord on the floor seems to be moving. That's actually raw sensory input that you haven't processed, because somehow mushrooms screw that part up. So you're experiencing raw sensory data, and it looks weird because you're not used to it, basically.
Well, because our brain hasn't smoothed it over like with that blind spot in our eyes. Is that what?
Yeah, exactly. We haven't added the flatness of tables, which we know about, right? But there's all these, like if you look at a cup, you automatically add the back of the cup to it, even though you don't know you're doing it. But if you look at it with acid, all of a sudden it looks like a whole different spooky kind of thing, because you're just getting the raw, feed from your eyes, and your eyes are flitting around constantly, and you're moving your head and things are moving. So you're going to see all that movement. It's really interesting.
We anticipate what something is like, and sometimes we fool ourselves when it's not like we think it's a cup, but it's not, or something,
Yeah, there's like in your cortex, every cortical column basically rockets into the next one. So we are predictive in that when we see something, we predict the next thing we're going to see, and it actually lights up the neurons of the thing that we think we're going to see. And if we don't see it, then all of a sudden we get kind of a shock. It feels like somebody kind of slapped your head a little bit, like you don't. And then you have to reprocess it and then set it up again so that now you can predict things. But LSD kind of screws that prediction mechanism up.
LSD?
You just get it right. LSD.
Who is LSD?
LSD. It's a girl I went out with back on the range. She was pretty fucking hot, actually. She was.
Did you just say back on the range?
Back on the range. I used to be on the range. The Iron Range in Minnesota, down here in Minneapolis, they call it D-Range. D-Range. Oh, you're from D-Range. It's like they don't like us down here. They're afraid of us. They should be.
Why does it feel like Election Day was 3 fucking years ago?
Oh, my God. When is this fucking shit? When are they going to finalize that, those electoral votes? The 12th?
In Georgia, you mean? Or are you talking about with
I think he means the Electoral College.
20th? Oh, I don't know.
The Electoral College, I don't think votes till like January.
No, I think it's the 12th.
The Daily Atheist Morning Show used to, one of the guys used to pull up a piece of paper with all the important dates on it, and I can't remember.
I can't say I've ever actually watched it.
So you're taking escitalopram. That is Lexapro. Escitalopram.
Yep.
Yep, it's got a triple bonded nitrogen. Interesting. I don't know if I would put that in my body.
I'm huffing nitrogen.
Oh, and fucking fluorine. It's got a fluorine atom out there. You're being fluoridated. Your brain is fluoridated.
Oh, God. The government, they're slipping that stuff in the pills.
They are. Spooky Acid Cup is a band name. Oh, is it really?
Spooky Acid Cup?
I gotta listen to Spooky Acid Cup.
That sounds like
My favorite is
a really cool like YouTube name for a guy who does a lot of quantum mechanics. Maybe I should just rename my channel Spooky Acid Cup.
I can't find Spooky Acid Cup. Damn it.
You could come up with worse names for sure.
Butthole Surfers. That's probably
like pink whale vaginas or something like that.
Have you listened to Butthole Surfers?
I have not.
You should. You should. There's the 90s alternative band. Late 90s.
Sorry, but Spooky Acid Cup.
I can't find Spooky Acid Cup.
That's really making me consider rebranding my channel. Spooky Acid.
That's pretty good. Spooky bed hair.
Drop
I like
some
that.
acid and talk about quantum physics.
Oh yeah.
Good old spooky acid cup.
Once we all dropped acid and we went out to this.
I'm just gonna tweet that and see how people react to it. Just
We
spooky
went
acid cup.
We went out to this abandoned road. You know, they had built a reservoir, so the road had cracks in it. You know, that were about 2 inches long. We found this orange spider, and 4 of us were like laying on the road looking at this spider for about like an hour and a half, 2 hours, just watching this spider and weaving a life for it. Basically, we like built a soap opera around the spider. It was amazing.
What?
Very imaginative.
Can't think of a better way to spend a Saturday afternoon in the summer.
I had a couple of friends that got so high, and this was just on weed, that they saw a clown head come through the floor, and it said their names. It was just like, "Follow me."
Part 3.
Yeah, I've heard about that. So one time I did acid, and I got my microscope out and some pond water, and I was watching this rotifer for what seemed like days, and spooky Ben face. I was watching it for like days, I think, and I was listening to what the hell was it? Oh God, it was an 8-track.
No, you know what?
Ben. Anyway,
Speed should rename his channel to Spooky Acid Cup.
Spooky Acid Cup. So anyway,
dude, when are you going to get your own custom URL?
I'm telling a story, Leo. Eventually, the heat from the light on the microscope dried the slide, and it instantly crystallized, and my rotifer died, and I cried. I was so fucking upset. It's like I'd gotten to know this little rotifer, watching it move around through all these little branches, and then all of a sudden it crystallized. It just froze, you know, and the rotifer just died. And it was over, and I'll never forget that. I am traumatized. I have PTSD from this experience.
That's why you can't remember your dreams. You're afraid to.
I'm afraid to. Yeah.
When
Afraid to remember the rotifers.
When are you going to get your own custom URL?
Custom URL? I don't know. I can't find Spooky Acid Cup.
You really should rename your channel Spooky Acid Cup.
I was being silly. I'm sorry. That's why I came on.
But
Spooky Ben face.
That's
I was being silly. I did, because you said acid cup, so I'm like Spooky Acid Cup.
That's such a good name.
Yeah, they haven't used it yet. So if you start a band, please name it that.
Yeah, I like the name though. I mean,
Spooky Acid Cup. We're gonna have to write that one down.
I mean, kind of you get some visualizations just saying it like 7 times backwards.
I literally made a tweet where it's literally just that. Just
yeah, and it has layers too. I mean, it has layers of meaning. You know.
Yeah, I think Joe would see more layers to it than the rest of us, though.
Probably.
Exactly.
Probably.
Yeah.
He has a creative mind, you know. Appreciate that. I mean, I don't know what he was talking about, but
it was. I didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah, sometimes Leo has a creative mind, and I think he should be arrested for it.
Yeah, but at least if it didn't go anywhere, like with some of the folks in the Brain Trust, it's just somewhere bad, and it just stays there. Like with Lippy and those guys, it's like at least it was just like it's just saying whatever. Maddox, Lippy the Beta Wolf.
Oh, he did this video on what the hell does he call it? Oh God, he's got a new syndrome that he's talking about.
It's atheist fantasy. It's like what's something like
no, he's got a new one. Droid C, desperate rejection of intelligent design condition. So he calls it Droid C, and he does this like half-hour video, or no, it's an 11-minute video, and he doesn't really ever make any point at all other than, I don't know, he doesn't like atheists.
I'm waiting on quantum mechanics so I can just demolish every fucking thing he says.
I like that. Are you telling me? You are stunningly ignorant.
Have you ever noticed that when like somebody makes a valid point to him, he tries to come up with a rebuttal, there's like 10-second pauses in it. Like he doesn't know what to say, and he's just like searching his mind for the biggest words he can use to confuse his opponent.
Yeah, it's such a weird way to go through the universe.
Then he has like word of the month. Like this month, it's talking points. Atheist talking points. He said, and then he said, like context is a word that he uses like 1,000 times, and he's got all these little glitches that are interesting.
It is interesting.
It is.
The CO Jones.
Yeah. The
Find me
Cohoney, the C. What is it? CO Jones.
CO Jones.
CO Jones. Yeah. You don't have the CO Jones to debate Dillahunty.
Yeah, where did that come? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Dillahunty. I don't.
Yeah, that's one reason why Matt said "fuck you," among many reasons. But that obviously mispronouncing his name and calling him a charlatan.
I want to debate Matt Dillahunty on whether or not people should debate Matt Dillahunty.
Dillahunty.
That's a great topic. That's never been debated before.
You need a GoFundMe for that.
That's right.
Yeah, you need to start a GoFundMe and a campaign, and I will be preparing.
I'm honestly like thinking about calling into AXP and being like, "So Matt, would you debate me on whether or not people should debate you?" He'd probably be like, "Oh, well, what position are you taking that people should debate you? Because it's funny."
I think he actually gets into Matt Dillahunty it was on another stream the other night where he got into Matt Dillahunty, and he was still complaining about him and calling him, talking about his cojones and all kinds of stuff.
Shit, Speed! I'm on 3 subscribers behind you.
No, you bastard! I hate you.
It's been a week.
You get that exposure. You're like on modern day debates.
I know.
You know.
And all modern day debates.
James won't have me. I don't know why.
Why have you?
I don't know. He had me like the very first YouTube video I ever did was on MDD, and I debated Alcoholics Anonymous, and it was with Jenna Belk from ACA, and we got along so well that it was boring. So
yeah,
and I was really unpolished, and I was nervous, and first time I'd ever been online, I think.
Well, the one thing that I could say is that he's gotten much more selective about who he lets on and who he doesn't than he used to be. Hell, even earlier this year.
Yeah, and some of his choices are not particularly.
Well, like tonight, he did the socialism versus capitalism debate. The one guy that's on there, JF, it's Jean-Francois some shit. He's a white nationalist, and I believe an ethno-statist, a racist, and was kicked off of a university campus, I believe, for sexual harassment. Like, it doesn't matter because it's a hot button topic, so to speak, and it brings up controversy. Like that's like become the whole point of MDD, is that it's just a place for all the dumpster fires on all these topics to just be consistently recycled. Is the earth flat? Did dinosaurs exist? Did the flood happen? Right. Socialism versus capitalism, creation versus evolution. Just the same like 5 or 6 different arguments recycled over and over and over, and just let them be these controversial dumpster fires because people want to see that. But people don't want to see it all the time is the problem.
Yeah, there haven't been a whole lot of debate topics that I've on MDD lately that I've really been interested in.
Really?
Yeah, and one of the things
you said there hasn't, or
hasn't, like flat Earth. I don't care about that topic.
Yeah. I'll watch like flat Earth debates or certain debates that have been redone if it's with entirely new people.
Yeah, and
then it's something new.
I don't know. There have to be something special about it to draw me in. Otherwise, it's just typical political rhetoric. And I get
he hasn't done the only like 2 real arguments for God's existence, at least that I've seen him do, are the moral argument and the teleological argument, which, as far as I know, there's only ever been one of that, and that was me and Otangelo. He doesn't do like ontological arguments, contingency arguments, cosmological arguments. Doesn't have debates on, is consciousness physical or not. He doesn't have debates on dualism. Like there's no philosophy to any of the debates that he hosts, and he seems to shut that out purposefully. Twice, me and Nephilim Free tried to have a debate on essentially, well, not really on the Kalam cosmological argument, but just on did the universe begin to exist? And both times he was against it, saying, it's too specified, it's too technical, and just like, no, it's really not. That's something that would actually probably draw a decent crowd because, number one, for theists, it's an argument that they use frequently, and for atheists, it's an argument they hear frequently.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see? This is the transcript from from Maddox's Droid C thing. It's dumb, and I'm talking to you, Matt Dillahunty.
At least he spelled it correctly. He should have spelled it the phonetic way.
Dillahunty. Yeah.
Well, no, this is because this is a transcript.
I can change that. I can fix that.
Yeah, good.
Oh yeah, I fixed it.
Thanks, Pete.
Yeah,
no
problem.
I feel better now.
Actually, tomorrow I'm going to get a hold of Conspiracy Cats, and ask him, and I'm sure he'll say yes, because Rick Delano, who
he's crazy too.
Yeah, he wants to debate me, and we were going to have it on a modern day debate. We set it up like 2 weeks ago. We haven't heard anything back from James, so I'm going to get a hold of Conspiracy Cats and see if he and Creaky Blinder want to host it on Agree to Disagree, and just see if he wants to host it, and then I'll tell him I'll get back to him with the topic, because originally we were going to debate the topic to essentially does physics point to a creator, but it got switched to essentially like what is pseudoscience, which I mean I'll debate that topic, but that is a topic that's kind of really specified that I think would be kind of boring. But and what I'm wondering is if Rick Delano wanted the topic changed, or if James came to them, because it was like Rick Delano's, I don't know, secretary, who the fuck ever does all his emails and stuff, that was setting it up. And I'm wondering if James came to them and said that, no, does physics point to a creator? Well, it's on physics, so that's too specific. Like, he does no discussions on like physics and astronomy and stuff, anything that's involved with that, despite the fact that people actually like that stuff. So I don't know if it was Rick that wanted it changed, or if it was James that asked for the topic to be changed, because I would rather debate the does physics point to a creator.
Well, what do you think if there was like a kind of a the same time the debate's going on, I guess it'd be like a synchronous scoring, just having some judges. Well,
right.
I got this one. Did they answer the fucking question? Did you answer the fucking question, or did you gish gallop? Or did you not answer the question? And what you said, quick fact check. That's like one good thing. The internet's it would be easy to do, to have like neutral judges.
You could create a plugin for OBS that would do that, and allow people to go to a website and score.
You can do it in either OBS or in Streamlabs. It might be a .gg, the website that people can create for themselves thing, because Vosh puts polls in his Vosh.gg chat all the time, but I don't know if that's an OBS thing or if it's through the website Vosh.gg.
Because it drives me crazy when so-called debates, I'm doing air quotes, so-called debates, and it's just some maniac just saying bullshit. I'm like, no, that's not a debate.
And one of the things that I like about Agree to Disagree is because Rick Delano is, I mean, he's not like a bad guy. He doesn't insult you or anything, but he'll have a tendency, you'll start talking and then he'll jump in with something to just steamroll over you. And he doesn't do it like Nephilim does, but he does do it. James will let that happen, or he's not assertive enough and being like, whoa, no, everybody shut up. Like he just, if he tries to butt in him and somebody keeps going, he'll just stop and be quiet. Creaky Blinder and Conspiracy Cats aren't like that. Like they'll be like, no. He was talking, let him finish, and then we'll come back to you.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I've heard a little bit of Conspiracy Cats. Who was that? I got him confused with Conspiracy Castle, who's like couple.
Yeah, that guy's a fucking just out there.
He's out there.
He really is.
He's like the X-Files.
Worse. He's, oh my god, like
it's just like he had too much
And
LDS.
and that guy is a major steamroller, worse than Nephilim. Like he'll just, it's just, and to me, James' channel would be a lot better if he would raise his voice and actually be like, "Nope, stop. Guy was talking. Let him finish. Then we'll come back to you."
Yeah.
And
doesn't he have mute control anyway over people?
But he doesn't want to use it. But I can understand that. You don't want to have to consistently mute people all the time in the discussion. So I know I can get not wanting to use the mute button, but at the same time, and another thing is just, and I've got much love for James. He's got a good channel, and let's be honest, we all like watching at least certain debates or certain debaters on that channel. I'd go on if he would ever get back to people, but the one thing that is that he try to pull, because when I first saw the channel, I thought it was going to be something more where there's just a lot of I thought it was going to be kind of like what Cameron Bertuzzi does, Capturing Christianity, where his debates are always philosophical and things like that. They're not dumpster fires. I thought it was going to be like that, but just more centered around actually being debates instead of being more a Christian centered channel. And it might have been that at first, but it's just evolved into they're just, and I'm not going to say that they're all dumpster fires. You get a few dumpster fires, but a lot of them are not necessarily good faith debates. If they're not dumpster fires, they're not necessarily a good faith debate. Like the one with Sal Cordova and Dapper Dino, that was a good faith debate.
Yeah.
And I would state that both of the ones that I had with Otangelo were good faith debates. The one I had with Nephilim, I'm not going to say it was a bad faith debate. It's just that with Nephi, anybody that knows Nephi and has debated him, like I have, I've known him for 5 years. I know him from Pal Talk. You have to interrupt him and overtalk him if you want to get a point out, because he'll just ramble on and on. Like he's worse than Otangelo with that. He'll go for 10, 15 minutes if he can get away with it.
Well, what always impresses me is like his energy to make up shit about bullshit. And I feel it's just like it's like, whew, man. That's intense. With that and that weird, I have trouble with his voice. Actually, it kind of just.
It's that whistle.
It's like, yeah.
And in our debate, God, was it I that said it, or was it somebody else that said it, and I adopted it? I think it was. I think no. What Stupid Horror Energy said is in the MDD side chat on YouTube. She said, every time he whistles, take a drink. And then I commented like 10 minutes after that. I said, every time he whistles, it sounds like a smoke alarm with dying batteries chirping, because it would be a whistle that would come out like that.
An angel dies or something,
A little bit of that chapstick or something on your lips before you go on to a debate, or Carmex or something.
I think he actually believes what he says, though, Nephilim, doesn't he?
Oh, no. He's genuine. And I got to give him credit. It's not that he's disrespectful, because there not a single insult was hurled towards either one of us in our debates, other than maybe, well, I don't think you know what you're talking about. Those aren't really insults. I mean, I don't consider those insults. But his only issue where I can see that there might be some disrespect is he just steamrolls over his opponents.
Yeah, he just wants to overtalk. It's not even. It's like he just can't help himself.
Well, no, literally, he's the kind of person where all he wants to do is just monologue the whole fucking time. And if you go to his channel, that's what he does. Like if you are making valid points, he'll put you on mute, and literally sometimes he'll go for 15 or 20 minutes and then take you off mute, and you'll go in to make a point. You maybe might get 15, 20 seconds in, and then he'll start interrupting you. And then if you keep talking and trying to reclaim your time, he'll just put you on mute and monologue again for another 10 or 15 minutes, like literally 10 or 15 minutes. Like that's why his debate that he had with Jordan last night, I think it was actually, he said he was going to come on David Neff's after show, and he was there for a little bit, but then somebody was talking with somebody else, and he went to interrupt to say something, and then Joaquin jumped in. Joaquin, seems like a good guy, but that dude does not take discussion seriously at all. It just. is way too what's the word I'm like, not necessarily disingenuous, but well, I would argue there's some disingenuity there because it doesn't seem like he's just genuinely wanting it.
I mentioned him on the weather report this morning. He kind of came in. He was like, when I was talking, I was trying to communicate with this Christian who was talking about a personal experience with God, and I tried to get him to subjectively describe how that felt to him. And so I was talking about spirituality, and he came back at me with this. Joaquin came back at me with, I got some swampland in Florida, because I mentioned the word faith. I said I have faith. I have faith in life. There's nothing wrong with having faith in life. So James.
Well, I was going to make a point that what Nephilim did on Davis is like he jumped in and then Joaquin immediately went to go after Nephilim, and then I jumped in and I was just like, wait, I was pulling a John Meterson. I'm just like, wait, everybody stop, trying to shut everybody up because David wanted to lay down some ground rules, and then Nephi just left. He didn't leave. He said he left because he was being overtalked. You weren't being overtalked. You tried to overtalk a discussion that was already happening, got muted by the host because he wanted to lay some ground rules, and then left. He left because he knew in that room he wasn't going to be allowed to steamroll over people and monologue for 10 or 15 fucking minutes. That's why he rarely goes into other people's after shows or open mics or anything, because he knows he's not going to be. He might in certain people's, like, I don't know if he's been on Praise before. I don't know if he is now, but he used to go on Smokey's a lot, and just he'll go where he knows whoever owns or runs the channel will let him monologue. But he won't go anywhere where he's not going to be allowed to just steamroll over people in monologue all fucking day.
Yeah. So James Kunz and August Berkshire, he's a former president of Minnesota Atheists. They debated right at the beginning of the pandemic in Mankato, and I can't find a link to that debate. But James was a pretty typical pre-supper, I mean, it was interesting to watch him debate. I've only seen him debate this once. And if I go to this site, Blogspot, my browser blocks me because it says it's like dangerous. I don't know. I can't find it.
Those pre-supper debates are dangerous.
They are dangerous.
Fry your brain out.
A debate between James and T-Jump, maybe?
Yeah, they did a debate.
Yeah.
Oh, did they? Really?
Yeah.
What was the topic?
Oh, free will, maybe?
What was it?
It was the resurrection or the existence of God or something like that. It was
the resurrection is an easy debate to win because all you have to do is pin your opponent down to admitting that they have to appeal to literally magic to make it work, and then at that point, your position is not viable at all.
Well, what about the empty tomb? Didn't you see that movie?
Demonstrate that it was empty. Well, these people, eyewitnesses,
the witnesses
demonstrate that they were eyewitnesses. Well, I mean, they wrote down and demonstrate that it was them that wrote it down. I mean, it's not. Those are not hard debates.
It really stops.
My question is, how
Matthew didn't write Matthew? You know nothing about it, the source, other than it happened. Late first century. It was written down.
Mm-hmm.
So there's just, I cannot believe that's my one regret is looking back and realizing I read Josh McDowell's books, Evidence That Demands a Verdict, and I fell for it, way back.
Well, I can't believe that I actually believed that literal magic existed. Of course, I didn't. You used the word magic. I always tried to argue, but that's just an appeal to absurdity. You're trying to make somebody else's argument absurd so you can defeat it when that wasn't the case. It's literally magic. But
I don't know what the hell.
God damn it. Oh, I know what I was going to say. I'm curious how James, or rather if any positions that James has have ever changed because of a debate that he's hosted on his channel.
That's a good question because he hears a lot. I mean, he sees a lot of debaters and has to listen to them. You'd think.
I would also wonder, especially as his channel has grown, how much of the debate he's actually listening to and how much of it is following the live chat and collecting all the questions and everything like that. So
gotcha.
and maybe he just kind of tunes it out and is kind of like listening from sort of the back burner for when he needs to jump in to moderate, which is kind of rare to begin with. But
so what the hell is dangerous about this site? It won't let me in. It's dangerous. I could proceed anyway, but I'm kind of afraid to, so I'm certainly not going to do it while I'm live.
What is?
Yeah, I rarely ever want to go onto a website that bad that I'll click through something that indicates it's dangerous.
Right, but I mean, Christ, it's just a debate at the Mankato University in Minnesota, and it was I think it was about Mark.
Is it the Mankato University website?
No, it's some sort of blog spot. I can't find the debate anywhere else. I watched it on YouTube, but they must have taken it down because it was actually pretty interesting. Another thing that was interesting is that was after the pandemic had started, and I was sort of wondering why all these people got together in an auditorium. Like they did.
Well, they like to propagate the virus.
Oh my God. There are all these people that we know have the virus, and they call us and say, yeah, we're feeling okay. What are you doing? And you sound like you're in your car. Oh, we're going to Walmart.
We're trying to. I was when I was working a few weeks ago, and I do like visits to different all over the place. And the person's like, yeah, the virus is doing pretty well, I hear. I'm like, yeah, it keeps spreading really well. It's doing well. Like, and then like 2 weeks later, they actually got COVID.
Yeah. It's like,
I have a question for anybody that's here on the panel. Has anybody here been on with Neil, the 604 atheist, for a deconversion story?
No, I haven't. I was never deconverted, so I can't.
Well, it means more. You know what the fuck is meant by the word deconverted.
I do, but I was never a Christian, so I was never.
Oh, I thought you were.
No, never. Well, when I was 8, no, I tried to be for my mom, but didn't take.
Would you like I could take your throw some water in your direction tonight if you or whatever you need to do if you want to?
With some holy water?
Yeah, or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah.
It's headed there. There'll be some precipitation, and consider that the holy water where you can whatever. So then you can deconvert officially.
Every time I go near holy water, it boils.
Oh yeah, well, shit.
I've never been close to holy water because holy water is really just water.
It's a bad sign.
Oh, come on, little faith.
The 604 like specialize in sharing people's deconversion stories, or deconversion?
Yeah, he different atheists in the community just has them on to talk about, their time as a religious person, their time as an atheist, why they changed, typical stuff like that.
I'm gonna go feed some raccoons. I'll be right back.
Cool. I've
got a raccoon.
On the ACA, what are they now? The ACA Discord server. It's not ACA. They're calling themselves something else. But anyway, reading through some of the deconversion stories, it is, what's the word? Stirring. Yeah, but it's amazing how so many people have been really like poorly affected. How strongly the religious insanity they grew up in. I mean, it was very, kind of heart-wrenching, really, when I read some of them. I had such an easy slide into atheism. It's like, whatevs. Atheist, whatever.
It took me a while to get there. Actually, I remember at some point when I was in elementary school, maybe early junior high, I remember deciding, there must be no God, because I'd been reading about dinosaurs and stuff in scientific magazines, And then for some reason, a girl in my class invited me to something at her church, and then I accepted Christ, and man, I was so gullible.
Well, I mean, that's a girl. Yeah, talks about that. It's like always a girl who gets these guys into it. It's the primary cause of going into Christianity.
My mommy always told me to be careful with those girls that they were up to no good.
Especially those religious girls.
Religious ones.
Yeah, especially the Catholic ones, because they're little freaks. They'll fuck you up.
Oh yeah.
Really good. And they're like, now you got to come with me to church, and you're just like, well, okay.
Okay.
That wasn't part of the agreement, but okay. Fuck it.
That's a good idea. Let's go to church. Yeah.
And then the male mantis said to the female mantis, but you eat my head after the sex, right? And she responded with yes. And he was like, okay, deal.
Right, exactly. Or it doesn't sound too bad then. Okay. Yeah.
So when I was like 16, I went out with this girl who was very religious, and her father was a pastor. And like making out with her was very difficult because she was just so prissy, you know. But then she would get drunk and she would start stripping, but which didn't make any sense to me. But then one time I went to pick her up, and her father said, "Hey, I need to have a conversation with you." And he took me into his rectory, and he closed the door and he locked it. And he started screaming at me about the devil and hellfire and all of this shit. And it was like, I broke up with her.
Yeah, that's probably
like
a good idea.
I thought he was going to kill me. I really thought the guy was going to fucking kill me.
It never starts out good when they lock the door.
Yeah,
Oh,
was,
no,
it like,
no.
was it like the classic lock sound, like, you know?
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly. It's like,
It sounds like that old Kenny Rogers song.
I saw that movie where they lock the door and then
Yep.
in the rectory too. That's creepy in and of
I know.
itself.
And he was giving me this whole like hellfire and brimstone sermon, you know, and so, talking about what was in my mind, and I know what's in your mind, and it's like, holy shit, I'm just picking her up for to go to going to a fucking movie, you know.
Well, do you think he had an inkling about the stripping?
Probably not, and I'm pretty sure that he had something to do with how screwed up she was.
She was a perfect little angel to him.
Yeah, she was messed up.
It's those preacher's kids.
Yeah,
the preacher's kids. The son of a,
what a strange bunch.
Yeah,
I actually found her on Facebook. She's married and lives in Colorado.
My future wife is definitely neither of her parents were preachers, so I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah,
they might be though. How do you know?
Because there's information on what her parents have done.
Oh, are you actually engaged?
No,
he's got this fantasy thing with Amelia Clark.
Oh, I'm sorry if you don't think that's comfortable, but you're just gonna have to sit like that.
Well,
maybe it's not a fantasy.
I'm with you, Leo. I'm with you. I will give you a letter of recommendation.
I don't believe that Amelia Clark is particularly religious either.
Yep.
We can invite her.
I actually don't think she's religious at all. I can't say that she's an atheist, but
if we can get her on my channel, then I would kick your ass and subs.
No. Yeah. if anybody was going to get her on a channel, it would probably be me. See what you're doing, Stel? You're fucking.
Well, I'm going to write that letter of recommendation, and we'll see how it goes.
Stop!
Recommendation, air quotes.
Stel.
That would be crazy if Speed actually did get Amelia Clark on.
Are you just going to be crabby? Well, then I'll just hold you. Oh well. It's going to have to be crabby cakes. Just too bad.
Immutable, what are you doing?
I'm just listening to y'all.
Immutiny.
Is it that
Immutable or table bet?
Yeah, we're calling
you. Leo's cat have a hissy fit.
Yeah,
There's only a cat can do.
She's not very she's not very happy right now.
Not at all.
What are you gonna do, huh?
I would not want an
inside. You got to take your head off. She could do that.
No, she couldn't.
No.
She's too timid for that.
Expand. I think you have to expand from Amelia Clark because you gotta have
diversity.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she's diverse enough.
No.
Yeah.
No, sorry.
You say no like you know her better than me, in which you don't.
No, it's just when you gotta have diversity. It doesn't matter what the woman is.
No, she's diverse enough.
Was it the dragon that sold it for you?
No. See, when I look at actors and actresses, I don't see their characters, and when I look at their characters, I don't see the actors or actresses that portray them.
It was coming out of the burning building with the dragon egg that did it for me.
Coming out of the burning building did she come out of?
Or the burning funeral pyre, whatever, where they burnt her with her, first husband. And she had the eggs, and
they came out and they were hatched. Yes,
I was like, I love badass women like that.
That was pretty bad. Or when she ate the horse heart. I mean, that was kind of.
That was probably one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah, that was all right. She came out of 2 burning buildings during the series. There was one later on.
She came out.
Yeah, that's right.
A burning building and a burning funeral pyre.
Season 5, I think it was. I think, when she was when she went to go look for, was it when she went to go look for Drogon? No, Drogon went away for like the longest time and then came back, and Amelia climbed on the back of Drogon and took her like to the middle of the Dothraki Sea, and then a Khal found her and took her to the camp where all of the Khaleesi's of dead Khals live, and she was something happened. I can't remember the details, and something happened, and a bunch of the men surrounded the building to try to I don't know what to kill her or capture her or some shit like that, and then she set the whole tent on fire and emerged from it. And then
so basically off the call.
That's the moment when literally the whole of the Dothraki were essentially behind Daenerys.
That sounds right.
Yeah, because she had about 100,000 Dothraki with her.
Welcome to the Game of Thrones Emilia Clarke podcast.
Song of Ice and Fire.
Oh, nice.
I don't talk about Game of Thrones. I talk about A Song of Ice and Fire.
Funny, I read the books, but I
So she's apparently under a lot of pressure to do nude scenes, and she said,
"No, fuck off."
Yeah, she said, "I'm like, fuck you."
Well, I posted it in the chat, Leo, for like a piano player. You should watch it. She plays piano really well, and
who? Amelia Clarke?
No.
Amelia Clarke does play the piano.
I open that up. I look forward to listening to it. Anyway.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no way you're going to change Leo's mind on any of this stuff. So
women that are like inherently attractive are not attractive to me. Amelia Clarke is just naturally beautiful, if you know what I mean. Like I'm gonna be honest, she's plain looking. She's not like a Megan Fox or a fucking Jessica Alba or a fucking Natalie Portman or anything like that. She's just a plain fucking English girl, and that's what makes her so attractive, is that she's just naturally very beautiful to me. But it's a lot of it is her personality. She is just a fucking.
Have you met Godless Girl?
Met Godless Girl? No. Do I know who that is? Yes.
You just keep an open mind. That's all I'm saying. Well, do what you want. Why?
I'm not sure who here views Godless Girl as attractive.
I mean, she's not ugly. I don't think she's ugly.
So Ben, are you trying to like get a Leophillius and Godless Girl a date? Is that what you're?
Why? Is it because that
you're the matchmaker?
Was it? I don't know if it's still her current boyfriend or whatever, but I'm pretty sure he was black. Is that why you think that me and her would work out so well? You fucking racist.
I don't know.
There might be select reasons why she would date you if she dates you.
I probably would not date her. I think we would have some fundamental philosophical disagreements that would bar that from happening.
I don't know. I'm just being silly.
But from what I know about Amelia Clarke's philosophy and her ethical framework, there's a lot of similarities there. I feel like I could get her to become a comrade. I really do.
Sometimes it's good to have singular focus.
Are you not a comrade, Immutatiny?
Nope, not a comrade.
A comrade in what?
Oh, like a socialist.
Oh.
Not quite aboard the socialist train yet.
What's that?
Not quite aboard the socialist train yet.
Well, let me tell you, the one thing about trains, it doesn't matter where they're going. What matters is deciding to get on.
Some trains never come back. So it's probably going to be one of those trains.
Well, actually, what matters is are the tracks intact, and do the brakes work?
Pretty much.
I'm surprised that none of you could identify the movie that I was talking about.
Oh, that was a movie reference? The Planes, Trains, and Automobiles?
Nope. The Polar Express.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw that one.
At the end of it, when he's dropping the boy back off at his house, to Tom Hanks, the conductor, voiced by Tom Hanks, is like, one thing about trains, it doesn't matter where they're going. What matters is deciding to get on, which is kind of like a statement about life, I guess.
What year did that come out?
2004.
2001? 2002?
No, that was 2000. No, hold on. 06, 07, 05, 06, 04, 05, 04. Yeah, 04, 2004.
Yeah, so my kid was...
I was in third grade, and it was the Christmas of third grade year. It was the Christmas of 04. So, yeah.
I saw it in theaters, so it must have been when I was like in elementary school.
What year did you graduate? 15?
Graduate high school?
Yeah.
14.
14? Okay. Well, how old were you when you graduated? 17 or 18? Well, I suppose it wouldn't have mattered because your 5th grade year. So when you went into 6th grade, that would have been 2007, right?
I think I was 18 when I graduated from high school. Yeah.
Yeah. So then, it would have been the same for you. To have been the same grade I was, 3rd grade.
Okay.
Since we graduated the same year, obviously every grade we were in would have been the same years, I should say, since it goes through 2. Here we are talking about the Polar Express. As long as I get
it's a valid topic.
I remember briefly the Polar Express. I mean, it was a pretty good movie.
My favorite Christmas movie. There is no Christmas movie that supersedes it.
I don't know. I'm pretty big fan.
You might not know, but I do.
I'm a pretty big fan of like the Tim Allen's Santa Claus, the first one at least.
I am not a fan of those movies, but I'm not a
fan
fan
of one,
so
because it was just a new Christmas movie that came along that was pretty good. But Polar Express, I don't know, there was something about it. It just didn't quite connect with me.
Well, because you're an old man, and it's a kind of kids movie. I mean,
yeah, I don't want my kids watch it. I let them watch it. I'm like, yeah.
So Immutable, we have a conundrum. Should we take the first part of your first name and the last part of your last name for Immutiny as a name, or the last part of your first name and the first part of your last name for a name Table Des? Which one do you like better?
I just like Destiny or Immutable.
I can't call you just Destiny because you're,
I like a mutiny.
You're not a curly headed white. Wait, how? I can't remember if your hair is that curly. I think when I saw it, it was shorter, but
my hair is naturally curly. I just don't let it grow to that length.
Okay, I can't call you Destiny because there's already a Destiny, and you're not him.
So,
no,
Immutable Destiny, does that also make you ineffable?
Well, let's not go that far.
Okay, all right.
So, I think he's saying that
less effable than most.
I think he's saying that he's already been put in a position where he can't be ineffable.
Oh.
Wow.
I'm only assuming.
Even though I'm not effable, it doesn't mean some of these decks aren't getting the D.
Maybe you're like 80% effable.
Let's go like with 99.
Okay.
Let's
be honest here. Immutable pulls down a gaggle of ass every night.
Well, you got to be careful where you look.
Yeah.
Got to go careful where you go hunting, because sometimes you will not find the right things.
Yeah. You are and you don't have to answer this question. How would you define yourself in terms of your sexuality?
Bi, but mostly attracted to girls.
Okay. I didn't know if you might have been pan, or if you were bi, or if you consider yourself, heterosexual, cisgender.
Heterosexual, cisgender. I usually don't play the gender politics game.
Yeah, I'm a gender abolitionist, personally, honestly.
Yeah, I like that.
It's just not something that we even need to have.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the notion of gender should be used, at least in the medical profession, because it's kind of a important thing in terms of like diagnostic procedures. And
in what way?
To a point, yeah, it is.
There's certain like core morphological differences between male and males, and also
that would be sex, not gender.
Yeah, but if a doctor can't figure it out, then you don't want to go to that doctor.
Well, a doctor can figure it out. All they have to do is test your genes.
Yeah.
So what is that characteristic? There are like 6 of these, even though most of them are either like XY or XX. You also have like XXY.
Yeah.
XYY.
You give me just if I can get into my fucking phone.
There's just a bunch of variants.
I mean, usually it's gender, primary gonads. There's secondary sex characteristics, but I forget what the other one is.
Gender is basically how you express.
Yes, gender is purely social. It's how one expresses themselves that can, but doesn't have to match up with their sex.
Yeah.
I mean, the issue I have with gender in that sense is that everybody expresses their gender uniquely. So it doesn't seem like a really valuable task to try and define what it is.
Yeah, you literally just nailed it on the head. Yes, 100%.
I guess the important thing is that, and we don't know, and maybe we know better now, but we don't know how many people went through let's just say the 20s, 30s, and 40s of the 20th century, feeling like a woman, but being stuck in a man's gender assigned by the culture to them.
Yes.
And feeling out of place. And that's the important thing, is that you just feel comfortable in your own skin. However you express that. I don't know that it's a political thing. It's just I don't fit in anywhere and I want to fit in.
Oh my God. Oh wow. I just scrolled by this old picture. I got to show this to you guys because that's what I mean by natural beauty, like being plainly beautiful. Yes. 100%. 100%. If a woman doesn't look like that, just fuck off.
Wow. Playing highball, are we?
Thank you for sharing, man.
Oh man, where the fuck?
Yeah, if you're not at least a 7, go fuck yourself. Wow. Okay.
Who said that she was a 7? Huh?
Is she less than a 7 in your eyes?
No, she's not on the scale in my eyes because I don't rate women on a scale.
Oh, come the fuck on! They're just piss ugly. Let's not beat around the bush.
This is their name on Twitter is Dr. Shay Akil McLean. Hi, I'm a transgender biologist, specifically an evolutionary geneticist who studies humans. In humans, there are 6 common sex karyotypes: XX, XY, XXY, XXXY, and XYYY. There are also 4 rare sex karyotypes: XO, XOXX, mosaicism, XY, XXY mosaicism, and XXY, XXXY, and XXXXY mosaicism.
Now, what's the O mean? Usually that means hugs and kisses.
I don't know, but the whole idea that
it's called
binary. Sex isn't even binary in humans. You're fucking stupid. Generally, we consider it, and this is again generally speaking, we consider it bimodal, but not binary.
But it's called what's that category called?
Karyotype.
Karyotype. Okay, yeah. I was trying to remember that exact tweet. When I was asking the question. That was interesting.
Yeah, Dan's in the chat. He would know more about it than I do. I was just reading a tweet from somebody who is seemingly qualified. Yeah, the evolutionary biologist, anthropologist, sociologist. Wow, evolutionary ecology, cons, bio, PhD.
Well, that's where the fundies really it just drives me nuts when they're just full of hate, man. Fuck. It's what it comes down to. Like they're hiding behind this like old book. Okay, whatever you want to believe, Bible's cool to read sometimes. I gotta admit, guilty pleasure. Sometimes I'll read it just because it's interesting, but they hide behind it to spread hate, and it just drives me nuts.
Dan, you just linked the video to this stream. I just want to let you know.
And the thing is, like, oh God, I lost my train of thought now. What exactly is O represent?
I don't know. I really don't.
Hugs and kisses. Scott said it. Everyone knows that.
Oh wow.
Is XOXO also considered valid?
I don't know.
That was a joke.
All right, bedtime. Later.
Okay, that doesn't tell me.
I think I'm gonna buzz off. What do you think?
Time for us to close the stream.
Ooh, that's in a recent video.
5 hours streaming. I can understand why you might be a little.
So Dr. Dan, Dr. Dan put a link to a YouTube thing. What is it?
It's actually this stream.
It's to this stream. He pulled the wrong link.
He linked to this stream?
Yeah.
Yep. He's a sweetheart.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Dan. Thank you for linking my stream. In my stream.
It's like bimodal, but not binary, Leo. I'm stealing that. Hey, I stole it from Vosh, so I actually had to look it up just to make sure that it's accurate. One thing I found with Vosh is when I fact check him, the only times that I have fact inconsistencies. I wouldn't even go as far as to say that he was wrong, just not fully accurate. But I think that was more in the sense of, I don't like to word it this way because the people weren't necessarily dumb, but sort of dumbing things down, simplifying things a little bit. And then sometimes there's details that are left out. I can appreciate that, though, because I have to do with quantum mechanics a lot when I talk to people. But I have to be honest, I can't say that I've ever fact-checked him on something that he hasn't already corrected himself on, where I would say that he has been just what I would call factually incorrect on. And that's actually one thing I appreciate about him. And he has
Unlike creationists, where they exhibit a phenomenon that Aaron Raw, and I've stolen this term from him, would call fractal wrongness.
Yes. The other thing I like about Vosh a lot is that he is a very skilled rhetorician. That he knows how to speak and get up very succinctly, yet in a way that people can understand and get his point across. And I have been trying to take from him a lot in that.
Exposure is the name of the game.
Mm-hmm. Well, and he says that one of the best skills you can have in being a debater or somebody who's involved with a lot of discussions and talking with people is your rhetoric. Now, naturally, you always want to be able to make a good argument. You always want to have the facts to back it up, but it's about how you can parse that out, how you can form it into an argument, and how you can rhetorically defend that argument and call out arguments that other people make. That's that rhetoric, and that is probably, I would agree, one of the most important aspects of discourse or interlocution, the alongside actually having data to back up your statement. Those two are the most important. Because if you have the facts, but you're not good at like talking about them and explaining them, you're going to be hard pressed to convince people to your side. But go ahead.
As much as I don't think Maddox is good at debating, there's one quality he nails, which is sounding confident.
Oh, 100%.
Which is expressing his falsely overexpressing his false sense of security and superiority over other people.
Yeah, textbook Dunning-Kruger, but it even goes a little bit further than Dunning-Kruger, where he thinks he's better than most of the people that, and like he'll get in discussions with professionals and act like he knows fucking more than they do.
Yep. We also know another person, Otangelo, who does that as well.
The thing is, I remember one time, and I had to ask like 3 or 4, I think it was actually 4 times. I had to ask him, I said, would you consider somebody with a PhD in molecular biology more knowledgeable than you on the subject? He would not answer that. All he would say is that, well, he looks at the subject from a different framework, which isn't an answer to the question at all. That doesn't answer or even address whether or not somebody is more knowledgeable than you are. Like somebody once asked me when SFT had Dr. Lyle on, they asked me, would you admit that Dr. Lyle knows more than you in the subject? Straightforward. I was like, yes, he's a fucking PhD. Just because he's saying this stuff doesn't mean I have to believe this because he's saying it, because he's wrong and I can show that he's wrong, not even having to use my own work. But it's also that I think that he knows that he's wrong and is just saying it anyway because he knows the audience he's speaking to isn't going to fucking correct him. They don't want to. But does Dr. Jason Lyle know more than me about astrophysics? Yes, he does. He's a fucking PhD. I'm not. But I have the humility to state that.
Well, and the thing is, too, is like you won't get Maddox or any creationist really to admit that they don't know something.
Exactly.
Like every time they talk about something, it's in the assertive. It's in the sense of like, oh, we know the universe is designed, or yada 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 yada. It's like, no, the fuck you don't. Like Otangelo earlier with this thing about irreducible complexity. It's like, well, provide an example of one. Oh well, no.
Yeah, all the examples he was giving were really just kind of almost unfalsifiable. And the one video that Dan did on in irreducible complexity, I thought was just a beautiful video because he lays it out how these are the different ways that you could create a criteria as for what he lays out. And this is why all of them just don't work. It's a really succinct video. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, and the thing is,
like, it's kind of weird because he'll also argue for the Shroud of Turin as proof of the resurrection. He'll also talk about he knows demons are real because he's been either involved with or close by to exorcisms. So, it's just like,
I'm pretty sure there was a big psychological study that was done on exorcisms and how they're literally not something that's like mystical or supernatural.
Well, I mean, demons don't exist, so
Exactly, like magical
kind of be
creatures.
hard for it to. Kind of be hard for the damn thing to work if the thing you're studying doesn't fucking exist.
Yes. There's the one discussion I still really want to fucking see, and once I figure out how to bring people into my channel, I might try to set it up, is Landon Kirtnall and John Maddox, because John Maddox always when he argues with his whole biology and genetic stuff, he always tries to go the computer science route and, you know, all of that fancy schmancy stuff. Well, Landon Kirtnall literally helped develop the internet. Like, he is a world-renowned computer scientist, and he doesn't take bullshit either. So he's the kind of guy that, like, what you're saying just isn't wrong. He's gonna look at you and be like, you're just wrong here. You're just patently wrong. God, it would be. And the reason is because when Maddox tries to talk like he knows more than Landon does, Landon will shut that shit down like that. And he won't do it by being arrogant. He'll just do it as in, like, look, you know, don't know what you're talking about. You don't have any degrees on this. I do. I've worked on things. Don't act like you know more than me. And it would just be a very humbling experience for Maddox to go through. I think it would knock him down.
No, it wouldn't, because that.
Yeah, Landon could do it. That's why I want him to have a discussion with Landon, because if anybody could do it, it's Landon, 100%.
I don't think it's a matter of Landon's ability necessarily. I think it's the fact of just Maddox being more stubborn than a brick wall.
Well, just look at what happened when he didn't get his debate with Dillahunty, how he was kind of played on the down low for a while. So we already know he will go into hiding, so to speak, if, you know, he feels like he lost something. Landon could do what Matt Dillahunty did without Matt Dillahunty actually having to do anything times 10. It would be... Wow.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I've talked with Landon before, and he's really, really knowledgeable. And it's...
Oh, I'm glad you know who he is. That makes it a lot better, actually.
I've chatted with him about astronomy, I think, before, like once or twice. But yeah, I mean, it's just it's astounding that some of these people don't have more respect, like, for professionals, especially given that, like, most professionals won't engage lay people directly on these topics.
Mm-hmm.
Because,
well, like, you know, the brain trust is coming at it from the point of view that our hearts are darkened, and, you know, Satan is controlling us, and we just refuse to believe the truth, and we've come up with this evil evolution that we're forcing upon, you know, people who are actually too smart to believe it. And so they have to set themselves up as the new experts who are defeating the conspiracy of the evolutionists.
Yeah, I would like to, Dan just said, if you ever get Maddox on, get me in on the down low, on the sly, because he won't talk to me. And my goodness, I would love to ask him a lot of questions about basic stuff in biology. Dr. Dan is somebody else who I would like to see go head to head with Maddox. Also standing for truth, but standing keeps running from Dan. So, I mean, who knows when that'll happen.
Standing will run from people. Well, not necessarily run, but just bitch out at people. Mm-hmm. Because standing, like, whenever you address a point of his, and he did this, like, in the very beginning, and I know that because way before, like, some of y'all started dealing with him, I chatted with him on Midnight's channel. Mm-hmm. And at that time, like, he didn't really know too much. And he hadn't really found a way of covering himself by appealing to what he now calls rescue devices. So whenever somebody brings up something new to standing, like something he obviously hasn't said, or something he doesn't really understand fully, he'll just say, oh, that's a rescue device. It's like, no, it's not. Like, this is common within, like, technical and academic literature. So I'll speak of the fucking devil. But yeah, it's shocking to see, like, that standing doesn't have, well, I guess not really shocking, but just somewhat amusing to see that standing doesn't have the honesty to admit, like, when he doesn't know enough about a topic to comment on it.
The limits of his knowledge, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that to me, I think that's almost a ubiquitous aspect. It is a ubiquitous aspect of creation. It's not admitting when they just don't know something. I've got some ideas of why they don't like it, but I really want to know what is so wrong with saying, you know what, that's honestly, that's something I don't think I've really heard of. I'll have to look into that. Like, just if you don't know something, then just say you don't know it. That doesn't mean that doesn't mean that you're wrong.
Well, he's obviously, well, I say obviously, my theory is because he keeps putting out these books, he doesn't care if they're crap or not. And even just in terms of the format, he's trying to set himself up as an authority.
Yeah.
So I think he can go from the used car dealership to churches and other organizations where he can sell books, and just become an authority to a bunch of churches.
Yep. Well, and the other thing is that's what I think it is with a lot of creationists. They try to paint themselves as like these authorities on, this true God-given knowledge. So they can't be wrong on anything because their knowledge comes from God. And it's almost like that if you give them something they don't know, that somehow God doesn't know it. Welcome to the party. And that's why they don't like being wrong.
Can you hear
not
me?
that they don't know something. Yeah. Is that
Yeah.
it's sort of like they have this divine knowledge that can't be wrong.
Okay, I can't really yell because I haven't moved to my new place yet. But regarding Lyndon Knoll, the man's a legend.
Yes.
Yep.
Like, I remember I had if you go on there, you probably find it, but I had a stream about him where I had a stream with him in it where he actually talks about knowing Richard Feynman, and I was like, oh, you knew Richard Feynman, you talked to him.
He's had a lot of discussions with Leonard Susskind too, who's in a lot of ways you could consider a still alive Richard Feynman.
I love Feynman.
Oh yeah, who doesn't?
One of the people I always thought would be interesting to talk to if he wasn't, well, it's not really Hawking's fault that he's dry as a personality, but yeah, Stephen Hawking would be interesting to talk to about certain things.
He's dead, right?
He is. But in a way, that's a blessing for him because, the fucking disease he had and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Hey. He was supposed to fucking die in his 20s.
He made it to 73 or 74 or something like that.
The man had wheels of steel, a will of steel. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he did have steel wheels. I will admit that much.
Yeah, steel.
Damn
too soon.
That one.
I would like naturally to have a discussion, like a face-to-face discussion with Sean Carroll, but Leonard Susskind would also be someone on my list I'd like to have.
Oh, Leonard Susskind. He has some wonderful lectures on quantum mechanics.
I've watched that series.
Yeah.
I think he's also embracing of string theory, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, he's one of its co-founders. I can't say that he says yes, it's going to be true, but he's working within a string theoretical framework.
Leo, string theory is not even wrong.
We don't know.
Oh God, here the fuck we go.
Hang on, Evita knows what I'm talking about.
God, you've taken CRISPR's talking point again. Here we go.
I was joking.
The major problem with the string models, because it's not a fucking theory, is because it's that the very first thing it was ever proposed to explain, it didn't even come close to explaining, and that was strong interactions. And we developed and began to use gauge field theory to explain that. So the thing that it was even originally proposed to explain, it didn't even explain, and then they've modified it, and it now has 10 to the 500th possible solutions, and we've just only ever assumed that our universe will fall into one of those solutions, which it might, but I think if string theory has any level of accuracy, it's not going to be in full. It's probably not even going to be in half of it.
No, I think part of that is we haven't converted string theory to work in de Sitter space yet.
Yes, and I think that's one of the problems of it, is that they can't really do that. Nobody knows how to do that or if it can even be done.
Well, a lot of people seem to think that they can. It's just a matter of time.
And this is the divide between the theoretical physicists, where you will find more support for string theory, versus the actual cosmologists who are probably not.
Sean Carroll's fairly embracing of it, isn't he?
I don't know.
Because he's worked in string theory before.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of them.
He's used it to develop certain models of quantum gravity. Quantum gravity, I think.
But the most workable model that we have is the ADS CFT correspondence, which still doesn't really work. But there's a lot of postulates of various different string models that, at least currently, are unfalsifiable. We just don't have and may never have the technology to confirm it. I think
There's
that
work with high-level physics as well, though, too, in regards to.
If I can say something really quick from what I remember about string theory, it intuitively, I know obviously you need evidence to prove it or to whatever the fuck, but I don't know, every time I read about string theory, it always made sense to me how different particles vibrate at different frequencies. You know what I mean? String theory just makes sense. You just gotta find the fucking particles, strings. You know?
Yeah, that's that's another thing that I just can't wrap my head around, is this whole strings and higher dimensions thing. It really has the explanatory power that we need to describe our reality.
I mean, have you ever read The Elegant Universe by Robert Greene?
Nope.
He explains it fairly well, so add it to the list.
And I just think it's kind of, it's, if nothing else, it's creative to try and think of it as being a string, either being free or a closed string, but that different particles can be expressed by different vibrational modes and excitations of those string.
To use an analogy, it's like an instrument, right? Each string on a guitar does a different note.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The Alien Universe by who? Or The Elegant Universe?
The Elegant Universe by Brian Greene.
Oh, Brian. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Brian Greene's also a really good guy to listen to as well, regards to this kind of stuff.
Yep.
He's one of
There's like a 3-part series, like a 3-part documentary that they made. It's called The Elegant Universe.
Yep.
One of the issues that I have with the quest for quantum gravity, as I call it, is that so many people keep trying to think of gravity as fundamental, like the other three forces are. I just don't think that it is. I think it's an emergent property. You can't reduce it to a quantum field theoretical description. It just doesn't have one. I just don't think that's the way that gravity is going to be explained.
I mean, I would say it's a byproduct of mass, or I guess the byproduct of the quantum field. Sorry, Higgs field.
I think the Higgs field might tie in to gravity, but or quantum gravity, but I just don't have the technical knowledge to make that statement with any level of confidence.
I think probably once some of the instrumentation gets an upgrade, we'll probably detect a graviton.
Because the thing is that they've even said that we could increase the strength of the LHC 100 times, and we still shouldn't, at least based on current theoretical descriptions, still shouldn't be capable of detecting a graviton. And I don't think we will detect gravitons, because I don't think gravitons real, because I don't think gravity is a fundamental force. I think it's an emergent property. It emerges out of more fundamental things, but that doesn't involve particles. And even if we did find it, it wouldn't be a particle of gravity. It would be a particle of space-time.
Well, okay, except for gravity is an intrinsic property of space-time.
As far as we know.
Okay, but so what reason would you say that it's not, right? I mean, every experiment that we've done, like both on large and relatively small scales, except for quantum scales, seem to demonstrate that if you distort space in some way, the effect of gravitation also changes relative to the curving of that space.
Yeah.
Hold on, can we just say that God did it and be done with it? It's so much easier.
It's not easier at all. Because it doesn't explain anything.
Yeah,
I could never be satisfied with that answer.
I think the thing that's more considerable, though, is that you could consider gravity to be a force that changes over time, especially if the curvature or geometry of space-time changes over time.
I thought it did.
It does. I mean, except for, I guess, the argument would be that even if there's local changes in space-time, it's not significant enough to cause the overall constant of gravity to change that much, really. It's kind of an averaging out process.
I've one question that's popped in my head is what if particles really don't curve space-time? I mean, I think that they do. It's just what if they didn't though? That
would be causing it to curve then.
Who knows? You probably have to insert another field, just like we had to essentially insert the Higgs field, because when they were developing the quantum flavor dynamics, which explains weak interactions as just their own force, not because now we just use electroweak theory. They had to have some other field there in order for it to work, because I think actually with essentially all gauge theories describing all particles, there has to be some other field there that they're coupled to, because all particles should, without that field, be massless. But we know that all particles are not massless. And the gauge field theoretical descriptions stated that, well, all particles should be massless unless they're coupled to some other field that we didn't know about at the time, and now we know that's the Higgs field. So the Higgs field was essentially sort of, you could say, fell out of the math of gauge theory, which is why gauge theory is so is held in such high regard in the realm of theoretical particle physics.
Wait, okay, I need clarification because I didn't really watch the discussion. Was it a debate between, did he not believe in quantum mechanics? I don't know, like, what was the stream about?
What?
I didn't watch the
stream.
stream.
What was the debate about?
Oh, the debate was idealism versus physicalism, essentially.
Oh.
Yeah, guy was a solipsist, so it wasn't too terribly hard.
How the fuck can you be a solipsism really bothers me, because it's like, okay, you're a solipsist.
It's just stupid.
How is your mind? Okay, here's what I don't get about solipsism. Okay, if your mind, if everything, if our reality is just a figment of your imagination or whatever the fuck, shouldn't you be able to access everyone's minds also? Like you're basically, you know what I mean? It's you, and then everyone around you is just, you know what I mean? They're robots. I don't know. Solipsism is stupid.
Yes, it is.
I think nihilism is more logical than solipsism. Well, more consistent, at least, as a framework.
Yeah. Well, because at least basic level philosophical nihilism just asserts that there is no objective meaning or purpose to anything.
Yeah.
Hey, Mutiny, are you in through StreamYard? Are you in control of the stream?
Sorry, did you say something?
I did. Are you in control of the stream?
I can't hear you.
Mutiny.
Can't hear you.
Stop it. Stop.
Can't
Stop
hear you.
Mutiny.
Okay, what is wrong with you people?
Can't hear you.
The last two topics, I have a whole lot to say about them, but I don't want to. But I don't want to.
Well, go ahead, Michael. We all want your opinion.
I just want to go eat my shrimp Alfredo.
Well, go fucking eat and talk with us.
At least you're calling it your shrimp.
I'm not going to eat on a stream like Gavin. I'm not Gavin.
Speed. Remember, it's the partial derivative of the cosine of shrimp squared, Alfredo. We established this against the stream.
We did. Yes. Too much shrimp.
Another math joke.
No, because he said shrimp cubed, and then I was like, no.
Oh, okay.
I didn't cube it. Anyway, guys, are you in control, Immutable?
I'm never in control. Why are you asking stupid questions?
Okay.
Oh, guys, we all know it. God is in control.
Is Jesus driving? Is Jesus driving again?
I don't know.
I use that as a defense many times in court.
The last time that happened, my car insurance went up, so I'm a little skeptical.
Jesus can't drive very well. There's something wrong with him. Keeps getting pulled over.
I know.
Yeah, I hate letting him drive.
He keeps transforming all the water in the coolant to wine. Not very. Not
so
really.
What I'm asking him, Immutable, is can I leave the stream now?
No.
Why?
You can never leave the stream.
I want to leave the stream. Oh, I want to go find some stupid movie to watch.
Well, enjoy that. I'm actually getting a little tired myself, so if this
bunch of fucking
looks like it's wanting to end.
You guys are just a bunch of bitch-ass culeros.
Well, if somebody was in control, I could just leave and dip out, and then you guys could handle it.
I mean, it looks like the conversation is in control of itself, so...
Kind of. But if I don't shut the stream down, it will turn into a praise stream, like 12 hours of dead airspace.
I will be here. I just might not be attentive to the stream. Go eat your fucking shrimp Alfredo.
Later, guys. Maybe I'll be back. We'll see what happens. I'm muted.
Well, you said you wanted to comment on stuff, so...
Well, yeah, in the morning I will.
Well, I think I'm going to be punk ass and sign off as well.
If you guys want to wait till morning, I'll comment like hell.
Are you going to do this in a part 2, since we're all getting tired?
Are you doing a weather report tomorrow morning, I'm assuming?
I probably will, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I've been...
hopefully I can be up early enough to be a part of it.
What time do you get up?
Usually around 11 to noon. I don't go to bed till like 3:30 in the morning, so...
Well, try to get up at 10.
I've tried, like, dude, I've tried to wake up early to go to fall asleep earlier, and I still don't.
Okay, we'll try doing it at 11 tomorrow. Okay?
Okay.
Maybe we had to set a time so that we get regular with it, because I think we get more viewers. So, maybe if we got to pick 11.
I don't think 10 is a bad time. I don't think 10 is a bad time. I just don't want to set my alarm.
Yeah, okay.
I don't like waking up to an alarm. I like just waking up.
Right. Yeah, I kind of like waking up. I've been sleeping until 7:30 lately. My sleep schedule just totally changed in the last month. So I've been sleeping late, like 4 hours late, actually. That's 4 hours, or 3 hours late for me. So, and I don't like it. I don't know.
You don't like sleeping more?
I don't like sleeping until 7:30. I feel like I've slept half the day away. Because my mind is most on at about 3:30 a.m. until about 9 a.m. And then after that, I ain't worth a damn. So,
well, damn, Michael.
I know it sucks, and you guys are just so late. You're so milliweeny, yucky young kids.
I know.
Yeah, I don't know. My mind has always popped up then. Even if when I used to program all night, I would start getting really productive at 3:30 a.m. even if I had been up all night. So it's just that time of the morning for me. I like when the day star pops out over the eastern horizon. I don't know.
Well, whatever floats your boat.
Yep. Okay, I'm gonna leave. You guys leaving?
Yeah, might as well start here.
Well, it's in the broadcast. All right, guys. Okay.
Thank you all for being here. Fuck off.
And remember to keep hating string theory. Just keep hating it because it makes Immutable mad. Just hate it.
All right. Just remember that every other quantum theory of gravity will be incorrect.
I fucking love string theory. Goodbye, everyone.
Get stringy with it.